Alright. Hello, people of the tube, and welcome to another Gaming News with Brian. And this one is a Nintendo edition where we bring you and talk to you about one of the longest lasting video game companies in history. Let's start off with a little history of Nintendo. Nintendo used to be a Japanese card company before they turned into the video game titan that they are now. They went from cards, toys, to
Like
eventually video
Pokemon?
game. Do what?
Like Pokemon.
No. It was actually playing cards like poker.
Oh, awesome.
Yep. They were technically just poker company or blackjack or just making cards.
Yeah,
And then what they did was they made a toy which is like an extend a hand that can grab shit.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then what happened is Nolan Bushnell helped to create Atari. And Nintendo, since now the electronic generation was coming through, wanted to make a console, and they did. Oh, and it's not the NES. The NES was not their first console, even though it is rumored to be. It is not.
Really? What was their first console, Chris?
Their first console, I'm absolutely sure, was a Pong console. When
Oh,
with
I've seen those things.
Yes, with the release of the video game Pong, which took the world by storm, Nintendo created their own Pong consoles to get in on the craze. Unfortunately, they were too late, like a lot of the other companies, and it didn't sell well. But once the Atari 2600 came out and made cartridges to the ready, then it was Nintendo's time to come in on the race.
Speaking of cartridges, man, I'm telling you, these kids today have it lucky. When you put in those Nintendo cartridges, they didn't always work. Take them out, blow on them, pretty much do everything to them to get them to work. I've even thrown a few against the wall.
How do I
Here.
do this? Fine. How do I switch
Down and up with the right analog stick. You'll have to
down
excuse
or what?
me. Up.
Up.
There you go. Teaching the younger generation Grand Theft Auto.
Alright, well, back to Nintendo, shall we? So, you have your history in Nintendo. And let's take you through a brief explanation on what is Nintendo doing nowadays. It's been over 25 years since the NES came up, and now their newest console, which will be the Wii U, has what is amiibo features and different games. New Legend of Zelda's coming out, and all kinds of other of the same stuff that we've been seeing for 25 years, plus a game about girl squids. But that's Nintendo for you. But now Nintendo is releasing a line of action figures that you can put into your video games. I happen to have one right here. This is Toon Link from the Legend of Zelda series, games like Wind Waker. How the amiibos work is in the base is a memory chip, and what you do is you place it on your Wii U or 3DS, which is their handheld console, and it will save any data from those games onto this. And you can take this wherever, and it's sort of like a memory card.
Those things are so cool.
Yes, they are,
People
actually.
never told me 10 years ago that those things would exist.
Yep. Well, you see, these wouldn't exist. Nintendo can thank Skylanders for this shit.
Yep. I was about to bring that up. Skylanders
Yep.
was the first to bring up the action figures.
Yep. Well, whoa, that ain't true, actually.
Really?
Yep. There was all kinds of shit like this before Skylanders. But it wasn't really this cool. There was a system called Hyperlink, I think, that used cards that you could swipe, and it put the character into the game.
Wonder where they got that name from.
I don't know, but we are getting off topic. This is about Nintendo.
Yeah.
Nintendo nowadays is well known for recycling their old games to earn money. I know this sounds like a bad thing, but it's not always a bad thing. Recently, they re-released the Majora's Mask, which is an extremely popular Nintendo 64 game that came out in 2000, and they re-released it on their handheld console on the Nintendo 3DS. This game was bought brand new for, let me see if I can get the link. Yes, it was bought brand new for $40.
Holy
I,
goodness.
I'm not a huge fan of this game, and I'm not a huge Nintendo fan, but this is pretty cool, and I'm glad that Nintendo has the balls to re-release, better editions of their games. So, let's shed some light on the subject again. Anyway, so, that's pretty much what Nintendo's doing now. That's what they did in the past, and to be honest, I think that's what they're going to do from now on.
If not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, that's true. Nintendo is one of the highest selling companies, and it's been around for, if we're just saying video games, it's been around for over 30 years, and if you want to include back in the card days and even before that, it's been around over 100.
And that's something I learned. I did not know about the cards.
Yep, Nintendo is an old-ass company. So, we would like to instead, because it may sound like I'm ranking on Nintendo, which is not the fact. I myself have had very fond memories of the company and have had them in my life like most people have. And that's what we're going to talk about right now. We're going to discuss our lives with Nintendo. I'm going to let Brian go ahead and speak since I've been speaking the whole time. Brian, what was your first Nintendo console? What was your first game you played on your Nintendo console? And did you like it?
My very first memory of Nintendo would have to be getting my sister's old hand-me-down NES, which most of the games worked. My very first game was Mario Brothers, and it was actually a dual game, if you can remember those. They had the 2 games on one cartridge.
I take it was Mario Duck Hunt?
Yep, that was one of my first games, and it came with the really cool gun controller, which I love to point at random people instead of the TV. But anyway, that game was my first Nintendo game, and that was my first system. May it rest in peace. It didn't even last a year, and my sister kicked the shit out of it. I was hogging Mario, and that's what I remember.
Alright, I do believe it is my turn. I do have to say that when I was 2, 3 years old, I played on my first Nintendo console. It was the Super Nintendo, and it happened to be my brother's. That's how these old consoles are really, are passed down. They're passed down. That's how a lot of us got to play our first consoles.
Exactly.
So, my first video game console I ever played was the Super Nintendo. And my first video game I remember playing, and I actually have a picture of me playing it, and it's the video game Mortal Kombat.
Oh, man. You're
Yes.
a god, Chris.
At the age of 3, I was playing Mortal Kombat with my father
Damn,
and brother.
that's awesome.
It is. So, and do I remember it? Not entirely. The thing is, being that age, you really don't remember a lot of things. Now, what I do remember, and man, I'm going to sound like an ass for saying this in this Nintendo episode, but I played the Sega Genesis.
Oh, yes.
I do
we were all
remember-
playing with Sonic.
I didn't play Sonic. I played Alter Beast. Alter Beast, Vector Man, Comic Zone, you name any random ass title, I've played it.
I'm drawing a blank here as soon as you're throwing these names out. I'm just like, what? Yeah, I'm not too much on the Sega. I've never had a Sega, honestly.
No.
I've played Sega, but never
Uh,
had one of my own.
Well, that's the thing. By the time I was old enough to really remember it all, the Super Nintendo was gone, and it was just Sega Genesis.
Yep.
My first, and here's another question that people want to hear. What was the first Nintendo console you yourself owned? I will let you answer this one, Brian.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, that was the only one I really owned was the hand-me-down. Because I went straight to PlayStation 1 after that. But I owned it for like a year. And I was very young. I was like 4 years old playing Mario. And I think if it wasn't for that game, I wouldn't be playing like right now. Because that's when I first fell in love with it. Just the colors and the eating mushrooms and the do 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 do. That song just captivated me.
Well,
And I mean, that's what got me playing.
okay. Well, for me, that wasn't my first. I did not own the Super Nintendo, and I did not actually. Here's the truth: my first video game console that was exclusively mine was a Nintendo console, and it was the Nintendo GameCube.
Ooh, that's a good game. That's a good gaming console.
My
There's a
first
lot
game,
of good games.
my first game console was a Nintendo GameCube. It was exclusively mine, and I could not have been happier because it had one of my favorite games, and to this day, it is still one of my favorite games, and that is Legend of Zelda: Wind Waker. When I got my when I got my GameCube, I received with it Metroid Prime 1 and 2, or Metroid Prime 1, and then the demo disc for the second game.
No.
So what I did was my brother, who also had a GameCube, because he buys all the new consoles all the time. What I did was I said I'll trade you Metroid Prime for Wind Waker, and he did, and that's what I played. I played Wind Waker as much as I could. I got all the secret stuff, and I absolutely loved that game, and I still do to this day.
That's awesome, bro.
It is. I absolutely love that game. It's a great game.
Let me see. I just wanted to check something out real quick. But pretty sure there was actually a Grand Theft Auto for Nintendo. But I can't think of the name of the title.
Hey, Brian. Mama. Hey. Turn your turn off.
Let's hit the PlayStation 1.
Why?
Alright, but yeah. I thought there was one for Nintendo, but there's not.
I do not believe there is one, actually. But,
I know it's the Game Boy Color I was thinking of.
When Kellen gets shaved a mohawk.
What?
Kellen has a...
Okay, anyway, back to Nintendo. Yeah,
Yeah.
apparently I was wrong a little bit, but I thought it was for Nintendo. It was for Game Boy Color, but still.
well, alright.
I think they were the first people to actually look at the handheld gaming like they do.
Well, you see, I'll tell you what. We'll make that completely different episode on handhelds, because there's actually a bigger history to handhelds than you
Really?
probably ever know.
Obviously, man. Yeah.
Every video game company had a
So,
Oh my gosh. How do I watch TV?
anyway, every gaming company has.
portable gaming console. Atari had one, Sega had two, Nintendo had all of them.
Yeah.
So, no, seriously, all the big companies back then had those. That is not what we are here to
Grab, you
discuss.
watch my 600-pound life.
Anyway, while they're watching Fat People, we're going to discuss Nintendo.
Yes, we shall continue to talk about Nintendo, because this is a Nintendo special episode. Oh, and people of the tube, next week, or whenever we get to it, is a Xbox episode. The same rules apply as on this special, and then the final episode in the trilogy, of course, will be PlayStation. Everything that's happened in this episode will happen in those episodes, so all the questions you're hearing will be the same.
Okay.
All it is, I'll do exactly the same shit I've done with Nintendo, with the history and the blue and blue and the blue and blue and blue and blue. So.
Yep. Alright.
Alright, so. We're almost done with this Nintendo special, but there's one last thing we gotta do.
Alright.
Brian, what is your favorite Nintendo series?
My favorite Nintendo series would have to be Mario. Like I said, if it wasn't for Mario, I don't think I'd be playing video games right now.
Whoa, hey.
And it's insane because Mario completely captivated me for hours.
That's the girl
I played for like all day one day, like 24 hours of Mario.
Well, now as I promised,
Hey,
we are going to. He has Mario, and I'm going to take The Legend of Zelda, and we are now going to argue which series is better. This will be a segment called Nintendo Beatdown. Which series is better? I will let him start his argument.
Mario was simple to play, simple enough for a 3-year-old to play, or 4-year-old, excuse me, and the music was catchy, it was bright colors, and the dude eats mushrooms. I mean, what's not to like about that? An Italian dude eating mushrooms going Mamma Mia every time he dies.
Alright. The argument has been presented for Super Mario Brothers. Now, The Legend of Zelda, I will say, is a better series than Mario. For one, the world is more exclusive. You can explore it. There's more to do. There are side quests. There are puzzles. It itself is a bigger game with a bigger lore and a bigger archive and history. Legend of Zelda has interesting characters, interesting villains, and an interesting plot line. Whether each one you play is different and different each time, whereas Mario will always be, you walk to the left and you jumping on an enemy, and it will always be Bowser, no matter if it's Skeletal Bowser, no matter if it's Baby Bowser, it'll always be Bowser trying to kidnap the princess. In Legend of Zelda, you can say it will always be Ganon, except some of the time, it's not. Sometimes it's Ganon, sometimes it's a wizard, sometimes it's Link himself, sometimes it's Zelda. So, that is my argument for The Legend of Zelda being better than Mario.
Mario did come first.
If we are going by that logic, then Donkey Kong is better, because Donkey Kong came first.
I'm not arguing. Man, I like Donkey Kong.
Well, goddamn. Donkey Kong wins. The winner of this argument is Donkey Kong, because it came first.
He can throw barrels at everybody.
Okay. Alright, people to two, we shall see you all later. I hope you've enjoyed this week's Gaming News with Chris and Brian. And watch out for
Everybody
next
on the East Coast, stay warm.
Yeah, no shit.
We're at the mercy of Pandora. Under a wet little box.
Jesus
Had to do
Christ.
it. Had to do it.
I got it. So, join us soon for Gaming News with Chris and Brian, Microsoft Edition. And then follow us next for the episode after that, which is Gaming News with Chris and Brian, PlayStation Edition. Or wait. Microsoft. Yeah, Sony. It'll be Sony Edition.
Don't mention the interview.
Yeah. See y'all later.
Yep, be right out.
Peace.